This week on Sports Mag, the Buff basketball team welcomed the Aggies into town.
We've got some women's basketball versus Nebraska.
As well as the MLS Cup champion Rapids on campus.
And a quick look at our own Andre Robertson.
CU Sports Mag right now. What's up, Buffs fans? We've got another action-packed week of CU Sports on slate for you. I'm Luke Rosenmeyer. Sitting next to me is Simone von Rivenberg, and there was a lot going on, wasn't there, this
Absolutely. Week? CU welcomed the number 22 Aggies back into town, and the Buffs were really desperate for a win. Alec Burks getting the party started for the Buffs with a nice fadeaway from the baseline, and he'd finished with 24 points on the night. Aggies quick to answer with an easy two-down low from Courtney Robertson, not to be confused with CU's Andre.
And you know what, speaking of Andre Robertson, he gets in on the action early here. Pump fake, huge dunk in the lane. Unfortunately, that would be his only bucket of the night. Then, Burks, stealing the show once more, comes up with an even bigger dunk off the steal as the Buffs are able to maintain a slim lead throughout the first half. However, A&M, they're ranked 22 for a reason. Nathan Walkup comes bowling over Andre Robertson, gets the putback. Shannon Sharp is not contesting that rebound.
Here comes Marcus Relford getting in on the action, hits a three here. Buff shot a blistering 54% from behind the arc. Despite the hot shooting by CU, Aggies able to cut the lead at 2 at halftime thanks to this jumper by Chris Middleton. Second half, boom, Burks made it look easy.
Speaking of Burks, you might want to guard him. Wide open for a three. That's 1,000 points in a Buffalo uniform for Alec. And here's a next play, Burks involved again. That's a questionable technical call. Kind of a confusing play. Burks had already been fouled. He gets the one-on-one, hits the first, hits the second, and then Corey Higgins is going to shoot the technicals for CU. Gets both of them. That's a 4-point swing. Then Higgins would hit a three. Now the Buffs are up.
Final seconds of regulation, Buffs up 1. Middleton misses the layup, but Burks gets the board and is fouled. He happened to hit both free throws. Last play, A&M down 3. David Harris wide open, hitting the three and sending it to OT.
And that was really a killer for the Buffs. They come out flat in extra innings as the Aggies open up on a 6-0 run. Here you're going to see 2 buckets from David LeBeau, as well as another putback for Nathan Walkup. But you know what? The Buffs said, this is our house, and they said, we're not going down without a fight. Austin Dufault hits the three to cut the deficit to 3, under a minute to go.
Comes down to the final possession. Levi Knutson unable to connect on the 3, and the Buffs drop their 6th out of 7.
That's right. Really disappointing showing for the Buffs, going down 3 to the Aggies. Burks leading the way. Higgins also chipping in with 19. And then you see Nathan Walkup. He had a lot of those putbacks. Ended up with 18 points, 8 rebounds. And then, obviously, David Harris with that big 3 at the end of regulation.
That's right. And Tad Boyle obviously unhappy with how that game went against the Aggies.
Bottom line is, when your team doesn't execute down the stretch, as a head coach, it's your responsibility and it's on you. And I take this loss as a head coach at Colorado on my shoulders. We weren't prepared as well as we should have been down the stretch for that situation, and I got nobody to blame but myself. This one will be with me for a long time.
Now, the men's basketball team had some struggles this week. Let's see if the women did any better.
That's right. The women had the rival Cornhuskers in town for the last time, and the Buffs really need a win. They're on a 3-game losing streak, hot from the start, good ball movement. Malcolm Peck hitting the J from the baseline. Buffs shot nearly 50% from the floor. Nebraska tries to get some from going in the first half. You're going to see Lindsey Moore. You know what? They just shot 28%. Field goals. Britney Spears, however, dominating. She had 26 points. Spears back at it on the Buffs' next possession, this time putting the ball on the floor, getting in the paint, 4-2.
And the Buffs were up 15 at the half. Lindsey Moore tries to cut into that, gets the bucket and 1. However, CU's Rachel Hargis gets herself an offensive board and a bucket on the next possession. Nebraska, man, just not giving up. Lindsey Moore comes back on the nice backdoor cut, gets another 2 of her 13 points for the night. Buffs able to maintain their lead. Here's Chucky Jeffrey hitting Hargis in the paint for an easy layup. Spears doing what she does best, crosses up the defender, puts the nail in the coffin. Big win for the Buffs.
The Pac-10 Soon-to-be Pac-12 Commissioner Larry Scott visited Boulder for CU's annual football preview luncheon. He discussed issues ranging from television revenue to expansion of the conference and many others in between. Colorado Heisman Trophy winner Rashaan Salaam was in attendance, making his first CU-related appearance since he received his award in 1994. Former head coach Bill McCartney was also there and is optimistic about the future of the program as it heads west to the Pac-12.
And the Buffs hit the slopes this week at the New Mexico Invitational. Freshman Andres Hogg brought his A game in the slalom, allowing the Buffs to take their second win of the season in this event. In the women's 10-kilometer freestyle, the Buffs finished in second, third, and fourth place. The team was lacking 7 of their top alpine skiers who were competing at the World University Games. The members who were competing finished strong in fourth place. And this weekend, the Buffs come home to compete in Aspen and Winter Park for the Denver Invitational.
Don't go anywhere. Coming up after the break, we're going to head to the double team set with Jacob Eliashar and Audie Streetman talking a little CU hoops.
And we'll reveal our athlete of the week. Here's a hint. It's a member of the women's basketball team.
About to run into trouble again.
Hey, Bobo, where's your video game? In here. Well, look at this. Uh-oh, it's my dad's. So want to hold it? What'll I do?
If you get my new comic activity book, More Adventures with Scruff, you'll find out what you can do about bullies and guns. And you'll see lots of games.
Cool.
For your free copy of my new comic activity book, just write Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652, and help take a bite out of crime.
I want it.
You know trouble can start when the clock hits 3.
When there's no place after school for kids to be.
Nothing to do but hanging on city streets.
When mom and dad are working to make ends meet. Now it's time to beat the street.
With after-school programs, city kids aren't left alone and vulnerable. They keep on learning between 3 and 6, but these programs need your support. Join with the Urban League to keep them going. Call now, because it's
time to beat the street.
Former CU student, football player, Olympian, and world champion. But most importantly, I'm a forever Buff, which means I'm part of 240,000 students and alums created by the CU Boulder Alumni Association. The University of Colorado will always be something I'm very proud to be a part of. The years that I spent going to school and playing football provided me with some of the best memories of my life. So come join me in creating lifelong CU relationships and explore the Forever Buff program.
Don't be mean. Clean your machine.
All right, welcome back here on Sports Mag. We've got our own sports guy, Josh Reising. And you know what, Josh? It looked good at the start of the season for the men's basketball team. Started conference play 3-0. You know, a lot of people talking about NCAA tournament. But now we're down the closing stretch of the season. They really haven't maintained that performance. So can you talk a little bit about what they need to do at this point to make the tournament?
Well, it's, like you said, Colorado started the conference play at 3-0, but since then they've gone 1-6. Now their conference schedule is really difficult. Their conference schedule ranks 8th in the nation, and they played against teams like Kansas, Missouri, and Texas A&M as well. Now some knocks for Colorado is the fact that even though on paper they were 10-4 in non-conference play, their strength of schedule is 312th in the nation, and they lost to teams such as Harvard and San Francisco, so that doesn't look good for them.
All right, you're talking about knocks against San Francisco, Colorado. What that selection committee, there's only 64 teams making this tournament, what specifically are they going to look at to see which teams are worthy?
Well, what they're really going to look at is the number of wins you have in this season. And for Colorado, they need to have 20 wins if they want to have a good shot at making it. Now, Colorado, they have 15 wins right now. And given the rest of their schedule, I don't know if they can pull off 20 wins right now. So it's going to be very difficult for Colorado to do that. And another thing that the selection committee is going to look at is your RPI. Now, your RPI focuses on your winning record, your opponent's winning record, and your opponent's winning record. So you want to do well, your opponents should do well, and also you want your opponents that you beat to do well as also. And the ranking, the scale you want to be as is probably in the mid-60s to have a good shot of making it.
Okay, so around this time of the year, a lot of people are talking about the bubble watch. Can you tell us a little bit about what teams right now will be on the bubble? Some teams that are maybe a couple spots ahead of Colorado?
Yeah, sure. Now, ESPN Joe Lunardi, he's made some projections on who might be the last 4 teams to make it into the NCAA tournament. Mm-hmm. He's got Missouri State, Richmond, Washington State, and Baylor being the last 4 teams to make it. Now, one thing that all these teams have in common is that they have a strong RPI ranking, and Richmond has the highest ranking at 70, and Colorado has 98. So Colorado needs to win the conference tournament.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. We're going to have to move on, but thank you for that in-depth insight on Colorado's bubble chances, and we'll see how they do.
The CU track and field team showed their speed at the Husker Invitational in Lincoln, Nebraska last Tuesday. Sophomore sprinter Joe Morris ran the 3rd fastest 200-meter time ever for a buff in 21.29 seconds. Morris also ran in CU's winning 4x400-meter relay team, which finished in 3 minutes, 14.38 seconds. On the women's side, sophomore Brooke Reagan ran the 2nd fastest 600-meter race ever for a buff, placing 5th in 1 minute, 23.7 seconds. The Buffs runners compete next in the Air Force Invitational in Colorado Springs this weekend.
Well, hopefully the track team will be able to keep up their hot performances as of late.
Absolutely.
Audie Streetman sitting alongside Jacob Eliashar, and today we're talking a little men's basketball, especially our last 2 games. They were losses, unfortunately. We lost to Missouri, which was an away game, and then we won with Texas A&M, which was a home game. So far, we've lost 7 games on the road, which is disappointing, but we've made up for it at home. We've won 12 games at home, which is good. I think that the biggest factor that contributed to our past 2 losses was just that the other teams, they wanted it more than we did. And we just need to get in that mindset to win. Do you have any other ideas about what we can do?
I think the Buffs were really way too confident. They weren't focusing on the end game. They were focused on the past and not the present and or the future, including the Big 12 tourney. And also, if they are mentally in the wrong place and in the wrong time, this will lead to their road to downfall. And it didn't help them at the Texas A&M game. That Robertson had a lack of rebounds, and the absence of Nate Tomlinson was a huge presence. And speaking of players, I heard that 2 of them broke some records.
That's right. Higgins and Burks, they're 2 of our key players. They're definitely leaders for the team. I know Higgins, he came in 8th place along with 5 other players for playing the most games for CU. He has played 119 games, which if you think about it, that's a lot of playing. So if we need a player with experience, we're going to look to him. I know additionally Alec Burks, he's a main scorer for our team. He's made 1,000 scores as of the Texas A&M game where he scored 24 points. So that's pretty impressive as well. I know Burks, he's scored in the double digits for every single game except for 1. So that's also impressive. Do you have any ideas for the stats in the future?
Right now we need to focus on the K-State Wildcats. The Wildcats are coming to Boulder, and the Buffs need to think about their trip they made to Manhattan earlier this year. They need to think about what happened at that night. They broke their losing streak at K-State, and that win made their 6th straight winning game of the season. But however, this was before they got ranked 2, so they got really overconfident, and pardon my French, cocky. So they got too confident, and now here we are. Now the Buffs are scrambling to find a gameplay. But however, I think head coach Tad Boyle, who's been a beacon of hope throughout the season, can best summarize this in a quote. I expect our players to go to bed, wake up, go to class tomorrow, and come to the gym ready to figure out how we are going to beat K-State. We cannot and will not feel sorry for ourselves. And that was a really good quote. And that man has been a beacon of hope for this team. What do you think, Audie?
I agree. I think Tad Boyle, he hit it right on the head with that one, that we really need to focus on our mentality coming into the game, especially when we're going to face Kansas State, who's a big competitor. They're a tough team to beat. So we definitely have to learn from our mistakes and move forward in that way. Do you have any idea what we can learn from?
One of the ideas I think they need to learn from is try not to foul out. Robinson fouled out during Missouri. Austin fouled out during the Iowa State game. The Iowa State game, and they need to make sure that their best players are not fouled out. Next, no more turnovers. The K-State game was a bad example of it. They had 20 turnovers for the game, and that should stop. The Buffs need to have the ball, physically have the ball on them at all times. And finally need to focus on the basket. They need to shoot 3 throws like there's no tomorrow. And what do you think, Audie?
I agree. I think if I were to talk to the team, I would tell them exactly what you said. Less fouls, we got to hold on to the ball, and we got to score. That, along with a good mindset, that's going to get us on the road to a win with Kansas State, especially since they're such a big competitor. So I'm hopeful. As long as our team learns from our mistakes, I think we'll be able to win.
I definitely agree, but now that's all the time we have for now. On behalf of Audie Streetman, this is Jacob Eliashar with CU Sports Mag. Now back to you guys at the desk.
Senior Britney Spears continues to break records in her final year in Boulder. She's second on the Buffs all-time scoring list and is looking to jump to the top. That's why she's our CU Sports Mag Athlete of the Week.
And senior women...
Well, it was a fun game, rival game, and we played together as a team, played good defense, and we ended up winning the game. Like, if you know you shot a lot of threes or shot a lot of shots, then you know you can make it in the game. So that's how I feel. If I know I didn't shoot before the game, then I'm going to feel like I can't make a shot in the game. So I just have to shoot and be mentally prepared for the game. We're more together this year. We play harder. We play defense actually this year. So I think it's better than years before.
And senior women's basketball standout Britney Spears scored 26 points in the win over Nebraska Sunday and is just 137 points shy of the school record. Which brings us to this week's trivia question. What player does Spears need to pass to become CU's all-time leading scorer? We will have the answer later on in the show.
That's right, and coming up, members of the CU ski team have been competing at the World University Games in Turkey for quite some time now.
And our own Andrew Tomasini gets to know one of the future stars of the Colorado men's basketball team, Andre Roberson.
Strong is cool because it is. Do you think taking steroids is cool? It's not. Steroids may make you big and strong now, but actually will hurt you in the long run. Are these your goals? Liver tumors, shrinking of testicles, infertility, baldness, development of breasts, paranoid jealousy, and jail. Unless you want those side effects, don't do steroids. Steroids, unnecessary.
In the event of a big emergency and I'm at work, my daughter's school is 2 blocks away. That would be a very convenient meeting place for all of us.
We'd meet up at his parents' house.
A meeting place? Not really.
My husband would definitely pick up the girls from school.
I would want to make sure that she has the girls or is on her way to get the girls.
I know that there's a plan, but I don't know what the plan is.
Juan le cuesta mucho hacer la tarea. ¿Cómo puedo ayudar? By coming here, you're already helping. Teachers have a lot to learn from parents.
Dice que ya con venir aquí estás ayudando, que los maestros tienen mucho que aprender de ti.
By the way, he's been a little mischievous lately.
Dice que me porto requete bien.
Juan.
Hables inglés o no, debes participar en la educación de tu hijo. Aprende cómo llamando.
Only you
can prevent forest fire.
And it's true. We know we can count on you to do what Rocky says.
drown your campfires with water. Make sure it's totally wet. Then stir and drown again.
We know we can count on you to do what Rocky says.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Tad Boyle's most touted recruit in his first years was a lanky forward from San Antonio, Texas. Andre Roberson has played well and turned some heads in his freshman year here in Boulder. Andrew Tomasini has more.
Andre Roberson is all smiles, and why not? The freshman from Texas is off to a hot start under new head coach Tad Boyle.
The thing that I've liked about Andre is he's continued to learn and get more confident, and you've seen him grow as a player as the season's gone on.
Andre is averaging 7 points and 7 rebounds in just under 20 minutes of play, but it's the rebounding that's caught the eyes of many throughout the Big 12.
I don't know, I guess it kind of comes natural for me with my long arms and stuff, so I don't know, I just battle the guys and practice the big man. I know they're bigger and stronger than me, but it doesn't faze me, but I just go out there and do the best that I can.
Through 23 games this season, Roberson is on pace to become the only freshman in CU history to lead the team in steals, rebounds, and block shots. And interestingly enough, he's not the only one in his family with Big 12 ties.
Andre's sisters Ashley and Amber both have Big 12 experience. Ashley started on the hardwood at Texas Tech and graduated last year, earning honorable mention All Big 12 in her senior season. While Amber, a junior, currently plays volleyball at the University of Texas, and according to Andre, his days growing up with two older sisters was rather interesting.
I just remember those days just playing against them. They used to beat up on me when I was little, but just kind of grew over that, so.
At the end of the day, though, Andre's true inspiration on and off the court is his father, John, who played professionally overseas for 12 seasons.
I looked up to him and what he did in his high school and college days as well, and professional days too. So he just pushed me hard, and I just want to kind of follow in his footsteps, but make it that further the next step. So.
Andrew Tomasini, CU Sportsman.
The Buffs headed into Columbia last weekend looking for the season sweep against Mizzou. MU kept the ball out of the Buffs' hands using their trademark pressure D to force a season-high 23 Colorado turnovers. Sophomore Alec Burks led the Buffs with 21 points, while Marcus Relford chipped in with a double-double. Corey Higgins added 14 points and broke a school record by starting in his 117th game. CU put themselves in a hole by going down 16 points at the half and were unable to make up any ground in the second, losing 89-73.
And we have men's club hockey was on the road looking for revenge against in-state rival CSU. The game was at the Budweiser Event Center right in the heart of Ram Country. CSU was physical and unrelenting all night, but the Buffs got on the scoreboard early. There was very little loss between the two Colorado schools in any sport, even hockey. With a home crowd, CSU was too much to handle, beating the Buffs 5-3.
While most CU students were studying hard for midterms, sophomore Erica Gent was skiing in Turkey at the World University Games. Gent earned the gold medal as the best overall women's alpine skier throughout the games, as she finished top 10 in all 4 of her races. The Colorado native finished with 2 medals in Turkey, as she picked up a silver medal in the super combined race as well. In the end, Team USA finished with 18 medals, 4 of them gold. Next up for the CU ski team is the Denver Invitational, February 11th through the 13th.
And the women's tennis team took on future conference opponent Utah last Friday. The Utes took the lead early, winning the doubles points by beating the Buffs in 2 of the 3 matches. Freshman Christina Schlick won the opening singles match in straight sets to give CU a 1-0 lead. But the Buffs didn't tally another victory as the Utes won the remaining 5 matchups, winning the entire match 5-1. Now, usually steady junior Michaela Jensen lost her match, her first defeat this year. CU fell to 1-2 on the young season and hosts Metro next Sunday.
On Sunday, a former CU football player was crowned the Super Bowl champion as the Packers defeated the Steelers. Our own Pierre Celestine went on campus to get the students' perspective on the big game.
Thanks, guys. Pierre Celestine here at the brand new Center for Community, getting students' reactions on this past week's Super Bowl.
I had some friends over and we made jalapeno poppers and we watched the game.
I went to a restaurant on Pearl Street and watched it.
It's freshman, so I went over to a friend's house and watched it.
We went over to a couple buddies' apartments and we just hung out there and had a good time and watched Super Bowl. Kind of some rivalry going on too, so it was a lot of fun.
Not as good as usual. There was like 1 or 2 that were good. Definitely have to agree with her.
There's a lot of times I can tell some companies are trying a little too hard to make people laugh. But the Doritos commercials are definitely my favorite.
There are a few that I enjoyed, but I kind of wasn't as entertained as I wanted to be.
I thought they were kind of lame, actually. Nothing really impressed me as much as in the years past.
A little kid that was Darth Vader, and he was like trying to make stuff work, and it was for a car commercial.
I thought the Doritos commercials were pretty funny, but yeah, I think they outdid themselves this year.
I don't know, the kicker, right? Yeah, I don't know his name.
I don't know.
I don't remember his name. I remember hearing about it, though. I have absolutely no idea.
Mason Crosby.
Mason Crosby?
The Dew Tour. Yeah, probably Dew Tour or X Games.
The rugby one that's coming up.
The World Series.
Not the World Series. Probably the Super Bowl.
Looks like the Super Bowl was this year's main attraction instead of the commercials, so it looks like advertisers have some work to do. For CU Sports Mag, I'm Pierre Celestin.
Thanks, Pierre. We're not done here at Sports Mag, as coming up, Stacey Sams has our forecast for the slopes.
That's right, and the Major League Soccer champions, the Colorado Rapids, were on campus, showing off their hardware.
Let's sit down for a second, okay? So
Hey, Kayla, there's Mary from your class.
Hi, Mary! Hi, Kayla! Come and play!
Oh, sweetie! Sweetie! Why don't you go play with those kids over there?
Why?
Imagine the power of one voice. Find yours at freedomcenter.org.
The MLS Colorado Rapids joined the CU men's soccer team this weekend on campus. Both are champions of their respective leagues, and they have the hardware to prove it.
Team won a national title in the fall, and not to be outdone, the Colorado Rapids won a championship of their own. The Rapids brought their MLS Cup trophy to the Boulder campus this week.
It's kind of a cool thing. Pretty soon we're actually going to have a game against the Rapids versus us here on campus sometime soon. So I think it's going to be a cool little experience here on campus.
They don't lack in confidence, that's for sure.
Oh, we'll pull it off somehow. It'll happen.
But win or lose, the game of soccer is becoming more popular in Colorado, especially here in Boulder.
We're definitely noticing more people, asking about us and wanting to come out to tryouts and come out. We completely encourage it. We want as many people as we can.
Winning both for CU and Rapids is good for the community, but it makes them hungry for more.
Just keep going at it. Just keep building and keep getting stronger and hopefully keep bringing those titles back.
For CU Sports Mag, I'm Andy McDonald.
I know you're all on pins and needles in anticipation of the answer to this week's trivia question. Here's the question one more time. Who does Britney Spears need to pass to become CU's all-time leading scorer? And the answer is Lisa Van Gore, who played for the Buffs throughout the 80s.
Wow, she must have been a great basketball player.
Lots of points, obviously.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and toss it to Stacey Sams over on the weather set.
Hi, I'm Stacey Sams, and I've got your weather report for this weekend. Looking at our weather map over here, it looks like we're going to have some snow coming down here from Canada. It should be here probably by Monday, so it'll be a little bit chilly, but it'll be perfect for Valentine's Day weekend, so that's all that's important. Now we're going to have a look at the ski slopes. So in Keystone, we're going to get about 7 inches of snow. The high is going to be about 35 and the low will be 25. It will be sunny, so that will be perfect as well. Having a look at Winter Park as well, we're going to have about 7 inches of snow at the end. The high will be of 27 and the low will be of 21, but it will also be sunny as well, so that will also be perfect for this weekend. And over in Eldora, it's also going to be sunny. We'll have 11 inches of snow by the end of the weekend. The high will be of 31 and the low will be of 25. Well, that's all that I have for you for this weekend's weather. I hope you all have a great Valentine's Day. And now back to the desk.
Looks like it's going to be a great weekend to go skiing.
That's right. I think I'm going to have to hit the slopes myself. All right, that's all the time we got for CU Sports Mag today. For Simone von Rivenberg, I'm Luke Rosenmeyer. See you next week.